What's up guys? Kalen here, aka Your Normal Consumer. And if you thought this channel was dead, you were close to being right. Because it's been a long time. I mean a long
One eternity later.
But hey, I'm back dropping content just like this video, which hopefully will make you laugh like it made me laugh. So here goes story time, guys. So me and the wife were in Target the other day. She had to go find a book to read to the kids, record herself reading, and then, share that with the kids, all that good stuff. Because everyone wants to make sure the kids understand that they're worth something, that they're important, and that they can change the future. That's what we always want to instill in kids, is that they are the next generation. They're going to be great. They're going to do great things. But that's not the premise of the story. The premise of the story comes down to iPhone elitism and how iPhone users still think about Android phones, which is crazy in the year 2022. So, background. We're in Target. I'm flipping through a book. I'm like, yeah, this would be a good book for you to read for the kids, right? I hear a guy, and he says it really loud. It's not like I overheard him. He just said it loud. He was like, man, I'd never get an Android phone. I'm a troll, and I like to, encourage people to be themselves. I'm like, whoa. Woo! Yeah, never get an Android phone. And then the second time he says something, he's like, I don't care if it's Samsung or not, I always rock an iPhone. I'm like, whoa, stick with your guns, sir. Be you. Third time, I'm like, he's about to say something funny again. It's made me laugh and be a troll. He was like, I have an iPhone in my pocket. Apple life. Do I look broke? I got flabbergasted, because I'm like,
What did you say?
What does the money in your bank account have to do with the phone you're rocking? Right? Like, okay, let's give a background on this, right? For anyone who doesn't know or wonders why, or for anyone who might be an iPhone user and think that Android phones are cheap, the notion that Android phones are cheap definitely comes back from when they first dropped. Software, buggy, build quality, trash, plastic, a lot of plastic, no metal, no glass, all right? iPhones have been rocking the whole, like a metal body for a long time. So Android phones, trash. Plastic designs were actually kind of trash. Does anyone remember the Band-Aid from the Galaxy S5? This is why I called the back cover. I hated that. I worked at T-Mobile when that phone came out. I never wanted to sell that phone because of the back. And when I did, make sure there was a case with it. But now in the year 2022, Samsung makes folding and flipping phones. Motorola makes a flipping phone. Other companies around the world make folding phones. Metal and glass construction, high-res screens, high-res cameras, high refresh rate screens. Android phones have been doing a high refresh rate for years. iPhones just not kind of catching up. So, that being said, flagship Android phones definitely are not cheap, okay? Recording this on the Z Fold 3, that's $2,000. 2K, 2 racks, 2 bands, 2 stacks, however you want to put that. It's a lot of money, regardless of who you are. I mean, unless you're like, I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg, $2,000 really ain't nothing to you. Warren Buffett, $2,000 ain't really much to you. But for me, $2,000 is a lot. So to hear this guy say that about the iPhones, I'm thinking in my head, he must not know how much some of these Android phones cost. For anyone out there who doesn't know how much some of these Android phones cost, I just told you how much one costs. The Z Fold 3 is $2,000. Purchase gone down a little bit. It's like $1,800, but I round up. That's $2,000 for me, and I got the 256 model, so the next one up is $2,000, right? But just for a little bit more insight, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, the big boy, the highest end iPhone you can get, starts at $1,099. The Galaxy S22 Ultra starts at $100 more than $1,199. But this guy in Target must not know that. He must not have looked at the prices or anything like that before he said something so goofy as, I'm not broke, I got an iPhone. Okay, I mean, that don't mean you're rich. You can be broke and have an iPhone. You can be rich and have an Android phone, and vice versa. Doesn't really matter. What's in your bank account doesn't determine what phone you have. What does determine that is your budget and your preference. If you like iPhones and your whole family they rock iPhones, and you got an iPad, you got a MacBook, you got an Apple Watch, you should probably stick with iPhone. If you've been using iPhone since the very first one, you should probably stick with iPhone unless you're willing to switch and give Android a chance, but also vice versa. If you want freedom, the ability to customize everything, the ability to do whatever you want with your phone, basically, because the software is open source. You want to change how the home screen looks. You want to download Niagara Launcher. I highly suggest you get Niagara Launcher. I freaking love it. A lot of people love it. It's just a great launcher. It's clean, fast, fluid. Love it. You want to be able to customize your Android phone to your liking, get an Android phone. Stick with Android. But also remember your budget. Okay? If you're willing to spend $1,000 plus USD, using that money, that currency, you need to know how much you're going to be spending. You need to be okay with spending $1,000 plus USD for some of these flagship phones. You know, that's your decision. If you want to do that, you can do that. You can drop the money up front, finance it. You got other payment plans too. Credit card, a loan will be kind of stupid. You know, a lot of interest, but hey, do you, bro? Do you, sis? However you want to get your device, right? But the main thing is budget and preference. That's what matters. Just my 2 cents. How to give you guys some story time, you know? But go ahead and drop your thoughts down below because that's where the comments reside. Let me know what you think about it. Are you an iPhone user out there who's like, no, Android phones are still cheap, price tag doesn't matter, blah, 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 blah. If you are an iPhone user, do you have an elitist mentality, or are you just kind of like, I like my iPhone? For Android users, do you get mad when you hear someone say, hey, Android phones are cheap, or hey, I rock an iPhone, I'm not broke? How do you feel about the iPhone elitist mentality? Also, let me know. If you're rocking with me, hopefully you like this video, you like my energy, go ahead and like, subscribe, turn the notification bells on, because I'm going to be dropping more content, and of course, share. Let's build a community here, guys. But other than that, I'm done rambling. It has been Kalen, aka Normal Consumer. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you guys later. Have a blessed one.